right, so I'm back home in Seattle, Washington. This is where I grew up. I reside in Tulsa, Oklahoma now, but I always love coming back home, not only to see family, but to move in the environment that I grew up with. So we're at Alki Beach, and you can see all the wood. And this is stuff we used to balance on as a kid. And to me, it's one of those interesting things where now as an adult, I'm coming back and doing the same things. And the main purpose of today's video, kind of like a vlog, but I've talked about it before, which is the importance of walking on articulating surfaces. On the way here, and I'm going to put these videos or these clips in this, I walked on 4 or 5 different types of surfaces. So we have the rock here that I've walked on, the dead trees here, walked on a fallen tree or balanced and moved around on a tree that had fallen down. You had the dirt path, you had the kind of like gravel rock path, both hard where it was damp from the wet drizzle that's been going on here, and then extremely soft. Looking at all those different types of surfaces, if we didn't have really flat and paved surfaces, this is what we would be walking on, and then we don't do that anymore. And I've talked about it before about casting the foot in a really tight toe box and an elevated heel, and you don't have that connection anymore. I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to. I have my Vivo Barefoots on, and I haven't done a review on these ones yet, which are more like dress shoes, but the bottom is a lot slicker than I anticipated. So even the footage of me walking on the wood here, I didn't run like I typically would. One, just getting better at that skill regardless of the shoe, but 2, I just haven't trained enough to do it. I haven't acquired that level of skill with that. But looking at those different things that I understand I would like to work on, because then that translates to something else. If I adapt to that and I have better balance and more stability when something is slick, if I'm walking on a flat surface like ice or something like that, I'll just have that little bit of edge, right? It's not something that you could prevent. It's just your body is adapted and knows how to react in those situations, what we're looking at. In terms of the foot and the articulating surfaces, I've talked about Katie Bowman stuff. She actually lives in Sequim, which is that way. I'm hoping to go train with her Monday. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but all of her stuff, right? And I'll put links for her books, but looking at what the raised heel does to the pelvic, because the pelvis does an anterior pelvic tilt to compensate for the elevation of the heel. The tight toe box makes the foot weaker. It doesn't have as much dexterity, and because of that, it's not as strong. So thinking of the foot as a muscle, how you train when people are training their back and their chest and all these other muscles, but looking at the body as a whole and the nutrients that you're feeding it, not just with food, but the environmental nutrients that you're giving it, nutrients that I'm getting from the ground, and how that's challenging the foot. My body has to react, right? So Katie talks about mechanoreceptors and how the body is reacting on a cellular level to all this stuff, which is super fascinating. And I'll talk more and more about that just as I've gotten a little bit more experience with it, and I've been kind of on that end for about 4 years now. I don't want to talk as somebody that hasn't been doing it long and trying to give all this information out where I'm kind of speaking out of turn, but now that I'm kind of gaining a little bit more ground, I do want to start sharing that information more. Like I said, I'll put links for her stuff, but just think about how your body reacts to the surfaces, the textures, everything that you walk on, and how in nature you're seeing a vast array of different surfaces and textures that you're going to deal with on a day-to-day basis. If we didn't live the way we live now everything's smooth, everything's soft. Very few things are rough in texture. Even when I go to the gym and I look at the stuff at the gym, like barbells don't exist in nature, kettlebells don't exist in nature. That pull-up bar that you're doing on a pull-up bar, that doesn't exist like that out in nature. I mean, we're looking at the trees, that branch is different, has a different texture, a different shape. It might be extremely smooth, it might be extremely rough. There are different factors that go in with that. And because of that, those things just make the body better, in my opinion, versus if I take those things away, it will only get so strong, it'll only get so tough in those situations. it'll only improve so much based off that. You go that extra step, and you don't have to do it all the time. And that's really what I try to tell my clients. It's like, man, if you could get out just a little bit, that is better than nothing. You've taken the first step of coming to the gym. Now let's push that a little bit more. Let's go walk outside more. Let's get you in some minimal shoes. Let's go barefoot at the house when we can, or when we go walking. Let's be a kid again and balance on things when we see them. So that's really what I wanted to talk about in this video. I'm here to do the functional range conditioning certification. I'm meeting up with Rafe Kelly on Tuesday. I'm trying to meet up with Katie Bowman on Monday, so we'll see how that goes. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I can actually do that. So we shall see. If so, I want to potentially shoot some video with Rafe and with Katie, ask some questions if I have a chance. I also understand that they're super busy and a lot of people are pulling out their time, so we'll see how that goes. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to continue to follow along with all of my content, hit the subscribe button. I'm actually probably going to vlog the FRC. I think it's important. I didn't find a ton of people talking about their experience with it other than showcasing the movements that they've adapted to or that they've learned. So I'll probably shoot some videos of that as well, and just talk about the pre-lead up and then my thoughts on it as I'm going through it with day 1 and day 2, and then how I'm going to integrate that into my practice, which that'll be a long time out. I'll be doing lots of videos with that. I'm super excited about it. So like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. Check back soon for more videos.